Do you have kids?
I don't have any kids.
You're married though, right?
Yeah.
You gonna have kids soon, or
I
what's
want
the
to.
plan?
I want to have kids, but I don't know. Not in this society. Not in this economy nor society.
You're married though? Does your husband want kids?
That's up for debate.
What do you mean? You guys are married. What do you mean it's up for debate?
It's the simple fact of the matter is like I don't want to raise my children in this type of society the way that
what
it's
does
going.
he want?
He wants kids.
And you married him? He married you despite your unwillingness?
Talked about it, and I told him, and I asked him. I said, "Do you mind if we don't have children?" And he's so about it. But we are open to adopting.
What in this society? Wait, what? That makes no sense. Why would you be unwilling to have biological kids but be open to adopting if the problem is the society?
Okay, well, for example, she is adopted.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to point you out.
So,
but there's a lot of children like out in this world that don't have homes regardless of the situation.
Okay.
They don't have families to
adoption
support them.
waiting lists are mile long. If there's a 100% of children who get put up for adoption at birth are adopted. 100%
But you
of
can
them.
do it through foster care.
Yeah, okay, so you're going to take on fosterlings.
Yeah.
But why not have biological kids?
To add more children into this already overly populated world.
The world's becoming underpopulated and overpopulated.
It really, as of this year or in the last couple of years, because honey, people be popping kids left and right. So
our
we
birth
also had
rate,
a pandemic.
Our birth rate's at 1.6. It's been dropping like a rock since 1800. If you look at
they banned abortion.
If you look at it globally, this is the case in all Western nations. North Korea is at, I think now it's at 0.80, I think, or even lower, 0.70. So it's not even one child per family anymore, which means they're going to go extinct as a people group, literally extinct.
Okay, but when you look at this, when you look at society and when you look at like what's going on in the world, and you see all the negative stuff that is happening, for me,
what negative stuff?
Well, there's wars going on.
There wasn't wars before when there was less population.
But like, thing about it is, it's just like we all grew up learning. Like for me, like I can't handle putting a child through this world that is already corrupt and evil as it is. It's almost like selfish to me in a way.
Isn't that the opposite? Like, wouldn't the idea that if the world is corrupt, that if you have children and instill good values in them, you're doing the opposite of what's corrupt?
If I have children, we're moving into the woods, and no one's going to know where we're going. No one's going to know anything about us. Like,
yeah, but wouldn't that be a positive to society?
To disappear?
No, a positive to society to raise the next generation, right?
But you have to think about it, like the children now that are going to schools, especially on TikTok. I've heard like teachers talk about
Don't send them to school, homeschool them.
But here's the thing: I've heard teachers talk about their children, how their children are reading at like a first grade level, and how the like reading and mathematical skills are just dropping. I mean, I even asked like a family member like, do you know how to like multiply? And they don't even know how to multiply or do addition, or they don't even know how to read, because obviously we have our phones and things of that nature. I don't want to bring children into this world where technology becomes their everything, if that makes any sense. I would rather put my children like...
Why? I don't understand this at all. You can govern all of that with your children.
Yeah, but then it's like I want them to live life. And then how are they going to live life? Like if I shelter them too much, then they're going to go out and want to go out into the world very sporadic and spiral and do this and do that and get into bad situations. And I don't want that for a child, because I've grown up in an environment where I've done sporadic and spirally things.
And you wish your parents hadn't had you?
No, I just wish they would have raised me right, and that's what I'm afraid of.
That's all I'm asking you. You're afraid you can't raise kids right, or
yes,
what? You're afraid you can't?
I'm afraid that I can't because of the...
So you kill your husband's dream of children because you're afraid that you're not going to be a good mom?
Yes.
That's fucking awful. Like,
no,
that's
not,
fucking
like,
awful.
It's not awful.
Why would you do that to him? He can't have another wife to have kids with.
But we can adopt.
Yeah, but that's not the same as having your own child.
Okay,
you're replicating your DNA. Like, do you realize that for a man, for instance, right? There's nothing more that'll ever give him the sense of pride like having a son, especially a son who's accomplishing things. Or you didn't let me finish.
Go ahead.
Or what they get in exchange for having a daughter as well.
Yeah,
So the thing is like there's a distinction here to be made between, well, honey, why don't we just go adopt this other? He's like, why don't you give me a fucking kid?
But the thing about it is like I don't want to go through labor.
Oh,
okay,
there we
that's
go.
Very extensive.
That's
and
what I thought it really was. You just didn't want to, because it'll damage your body, right?
Well, no, I don't want. I just don't. I'd rather not have children in this lifetime. I'm not saying that hopefully, in more lifetimes to come, I want to be able to at least give my children the best life that they can possibly have.
How many wives does your husband get?
Well, I mean, men get multiple wives every day. Like, they divorce their women and they remarry.
So you're planning on getting a divorce with your husband?
I'm not planning on getting a divorce with my husband.
Then the assumption here is you're going to be married forever?
Well, the ideal is to be married forever.
Okay, so if that's the assumption, you're going to be married forever, who else can he have children with?
Well, I mean, he could just put his his sperm in a cup and put it in the freezer. And then if I decide I want to have children, I will.
Yeah, but
what about a surrogate?
But what about him?
Could be.
Yeah, but what about him, though? Not talking about you now. Not talking about everything that Princess You wants. I'm talking about, what about the king? What does the king get here? Does the king get to have a progeny? Does he get to have that?
Yeah,
does he get to have the prince?
a progeny with an adopted child. He
Yeah,
will still
but you're-
have a kid of his, not of his own, biologically.
The
but
only thing you can give him?
That's the only thing I can give him. As a woman, I could give my man multiple
That's the
things.
only unique thing that you can bring to the table as a woman. That he could. What else could he? What else is unique that you would bring to the table as a woman?
I think my nurturing spirit.
What are you nurturing? You don't want kids. What are you?
No, I can nurture.
What the hell are you nurturing?
I can nurture him and treat him as a king, and I am as a queen. I don't to say.
Why
that,
couldn't he get a barren woman and do the exact same thing?
But barren or no barren, regardless of the situation, a woman is still a woman. A woman is still nurturing regardless of the situation.
Yeah, and they get a lot out of that. They get money, they get resources, they get affection themselves.
$200. The birth rate during the Great Depression was 2.1 children per woman. The current birth rate is below that, and women still refuse to have kids due to economic issues. Make it make sense.
Yeah, I can actually explain why that happened, but we don't even need to dive into it. I'd just like to finish this real quick, this exchange. So your husband wants kids. Your husband has the expectation he's only going to ever have one wife, and his one wife is refusing to have children. So tell me, how is this a fair deal for your husband?
Well, we both agreed that if I don't want to have children or we don't want to have children, we can adopt. That's our agreement. That's like not an ultimatum or whatever, but it's okay. Before I even met my partner, I've always wanted to adopt. I never truly wanted to have children of my own.
How many kids you want to adopt?
I want to adopt 5.
Okay, so why can't you give him 3 and adopt 2?
3 children?
Or give him 1. Can you give him 1? 1 that's actually his?
He can, but the thing about it is, it's like you regardless of the situation, there's so many kids out there that need homes.
Including the ones he wants.
Well, he doesn't know that yet because we don't have.
He does know it. He said he wants them.
But he could have kids, adopted or biological. It's just.
Well, he can't have them biological without your participation.
Then sucks to sucks, I guess. You're gonna bury me for the rest of your life. I don't know what else to say besides I want.
You don't think that that's mildly horrible?
I don't. I mean, if the tables were turned and he was like, okay, I don't want to have children.
That would be horrible too.
I would respect that.
Yeah, but that would still be horrible too. So think about it. If you were to think how unfair this would be, woman says, okay, I have this small window, my 20s to my early 30s, to have healthy children. Okay, that's my window, right? I get married young to this guy at 25, and he's like, oh, you know what? I don't really want to have kids. And you're like, but wait, my biological clock is ticking. That's what I want more than anything is children. I want children, and you're not going to give them to me? And he's like, nah, baby, we're just going to adopt. You'd be like, what the fuck? They'd be like, what the fuck?
I mean, the thing about it is like we don't really know when's the limit for women to stop having children because
yeah, we do.
We do know.
We do
Around
now?
30
Definitely.
to 35 usually, yeah.
Oh, that's
and by the way,
wow.
that's really not an optimal age group because it does so much damage.
Well, that's really late.
You know what's really funny is like you said earlier, I don't want to go through labor. The most hilarious thing to me is that women say, I'm going to wait till I'm 30 to start having children when it does the most amount of damage to their body. That's
then, like,
that's like
your
hilariously
20s.
backwards to me. Of like, you want to wait until you're in your 30s when it's going to do the worst possible amounts of damage to your body, rather than in your 20s where you can literally be back at work the next day. That's how easy it is on women's bodies. They're back at work the next day. It's not even a problem. They're designed to have children. Like, they're designed not to get wrecked in their 20s having kids.
Yeah, but the thing about it is your 20s are for you to discover who you are and what you want to do in life. It shouldn't be like, oh, let's get married
Says
and
who?
have kids.
You just made that shit up. Who said that your 20s are your discovery years? Your
That's
20s
what
are your
I-
family years. That's when you start your
20s are
families.
your
Yes.
family years? And I've heard that, like, my father always told me, like, wait until you're 30.
Well, your
because
dad was wrong, because you're going to wreck your body worse at 30 than at 20,
I hope
22.
not, because I've been exercising and getting myself together. But
That won't give you
doesn't
skinny
matter.
elasticity when you.
well,
It doesn't matter how much you exercise.
I mean, y'all don't know my body. I know my body. So I'm just saying, like, I personally wouldn't want to have kids in this society. And
Okay.
that's where
I
I'm
do
gonna
need to
stand.
I do need to thank Bender the Offender for